Hey guys, we are at the fun part and we are actually building out our website. We are going to start with the home page. Now, I'm already in my Canvas and I have uploaded my colors, I uploaded my fonts, and I changed my type styles. And then I also went into Media Library and uploaded my photos. So now I am under pages and I have one page here called New Page. Now, depending on if you went with the blank Showit template or if you went with the simple Showit template, you may see something different here. If you need to delete a page, you can click on the three dots and click on delete. And if you need to add a page, you can click on the plus and click on add blank page. So I'm going to click on the three dots and I'm going to rename this to home. And now we're going to go ahead and go into page. We are going to start, we're going to start by creating the menu, but we're not going to fully create it because there's a lot of technical bits in the menu. So we're going to build out the entire page and then we're going to go back to the menu and then build that out and then build out the footer as well. So we should have one canvas here called new canvas. Let's go ahead and rename that to menu. And we are going to edit desktop first, and then we're going to go back to menu. So we're going to click on show desktop only, and let's go ahead and change the background by going on the right hand side to canvas background. And then we're going to go ahead and change the size of this canvas by using this sliding scale here. Now, sometimes it's hard to get exactly on it, and if you find that that's the case, what you could do is you could go over here to canvas, and under initial height, you can change this to whatever it is that you need it to be. So in this case, we're going to change it to 100, and then we're going to go ahead and add our logo. Okay, so to change the size of your logo, you can go ahead and click here to make it larger. Sometimes what you might notice is that if you extend it out, depending on how big your logo is, it might start to do this. So what you would actually want to do is when you bring your logo in, you want to click on Shift on your keyboard, and then you want to bring it out. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring this over here. Okay, perfect. So we're going to leave that as is, and we are going to go ahead and add a new canvas. Under the three dots on this home, we're going to add a blank canvas, and we're going to call this one header. Okay, so the header is going to be based off of these website layout templates that I have in my template kit. So this is what it's basically going to look like when we get finished. So I'm going to move this over to a different tab so that I can see it. Okay, so back over here, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add our photo. So go into your media library and click on the photo that you would like. And then we're going to go ahead and size that. So I'm actually just going to make the canvas a bit bigger. So let me see. It's at 500. I'm going to go with 600. And now I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. And I'm hitting Shift. I'm going to go into size and position and just see what size it is. Let's do 300 by 450. Okay, that looks good. Now let's go ahead and add our heading. So I'm going to go ahead and copy name text by hitting Control C and then Control V on my keyboard. We're going to extend it out, extend it down. Now we're not going to worry about positioning here. We're going to do that once we have all three elements, so our header, our subheader, and our button, and then we'll go ahead and make sure that it's aligned to the canvas. Next thing that we're going to add is the subheader. So let me go and grab my text. Then you can right click to paste as well if you didn't want to use your keyboard. Now, if you are not liking the way that this is showing up and you want to change it, if you're wanting to change it across the board, so like let's say this is your subheading, and you're just noticing like, oh, this is way too big for subheadings, then you want to go right back into your design settings and you want to change the subheading settings here. So here is where you'd be able to change that. So here's the size, here is the line height, and here is the letter spacing. So you're going to want to play around with that. Or if it's just literally for this one. So for instance, I do like my subheadings to be all caps and to look like this. But for this header, I actually want it to be normal case. And I want it to be maybe a bit smaller. Let's see what it looks like. So I'm going to go over here into text styles. I'm going to change the letter case to normal. And I'm going to extend that out. I think that that is a good size, but I do want my header to be bigger. So I just want it to be bigger just for this individual one. So usually for my headers on each page, they're going to be bigger than what the heading size for each of the sections would be. So let's see what 45 looks like. 45 looks good, and we're going to extend this out. Okay, so that looks good. Now let's go ahead and add the button. So we're going to click in this middle square one, and we're going to click on rectangle, and then you're just going to go ahead and adjust it to the size of a button that you would like. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to change the color over here. So when you actually click on it, it's going to bring up the color option for this rectangle. And let's go ahead and select screen color. Now I'm going to add a border around it. So here under the shape style is the border setting. So I'm going to add a border size of 1, and then I'm going to change the border color to black. And then I'm going to add the words. So for this first button, I would add whatever your longest call to action is going to be. So let's work together. So that way you can make sure that all of the buttons have the same size. You don't have to change the size of certain buttons because the words don't fit. So that way you can just make sure that it looks good for all of them. I'm going to bring that in here. And then I need to make this smaller. I think 15 looks good. I want to change the color to white. Yeah, that looks perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, well, if your button, I just want to kind of touch on this. I extend my text box all the way out so that it aligns, and I make sure that, like, if this is up here like this, you might notice that when you try to go to align it like this, it just is off. So I always try and make sure that the text box looks good. Then that way, when you select all of them, you'll see that the alignment options come up. You can select align to group, middle, and center, and it'll do that for you. So now we're going to do the same thing with these 3 over here. We want them to be center aligned, so we're going to do center alignment. And then I also want it to align to the canvas. So I want this to be directly in the middle of this canvas. So under align to canvas, I'm going to select middle. So if you wait for it, because I get confused with these all the time still. So if you wait for it, you can see that it'll pop up with what it is. And I mean, it's just trial and error. So just, click around until you get there. It's definitely okay. So now we're in the middle. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the picture here. And so you'll see that it changed the settings here. So here we can see that alignment came up. It knows what you want to do. And now when we click on the image, because there's just one image, it's giving us all the settings. So it looks a little different, but it's still under size and position. And you can see center to canvas is here. So there's center to canvas. And I actually want to move these in a little bit closer. And now I want to center all of them. So I'm going to actually just move it over a little bit because there's some space right there. And perfect. So a couple of things that you can do to make this look unique is that you can change the shape of the photo by going to effects and clicking on corners. So maybe you want rounded corners, or maybe you want a circle. So this is an oval, but if you go into size over here, you'll see that because the size is 300 by 450, it's not like a perfect circle. So if you just change this 450 to 300, it'll make it a circle. I'm gonna change that back. I'm gonna go back into effects. For the corners, you can also click one of these options, which is really cool. So you can have any one of these shapes here. So I'm actually gonna do this shape here. And I also want to add a frame to it. So in order to do that, I'm going to add a rectangle, and I'm going to make the rectangle the same size as this photo. So you can go ahead and line it up, or what you can do is you can take a look to see what size the photo is. So it's 300 by 450, and you can just go ahead and click on the rectangle, and you can go ahead and change that size. So 300 by 450, and then you want to put it right on top. Now we want this rectangle to be behind it. In order to do that, we're going to go under page, and then this is the rectangle. So we can see all of these now have different names, and you can go ahead and change these. So instead of simple, I'm going to change this to background or image frame. So now I know exactly what that is. And I'm going to just move this down to the bottom here. And so now you can see that it is behind it. And I'm going to click on or highlight both of them, and then I'm going to align them. Okay, perfect. So we want this to be a little bit bigger. So we're going to move it up 2 pixels, or how many ever pixels you want. I think 2 pixels is good for me, but maybe you want it to be a little bit thicker, so you can go ahead and play around with that. And then we also need to make sure that it's the same shape. So we're going to go in here and change the shape. And oh, so I'm on the graphic. So that is why it's not changing the shape. So here. So let me go back to size and position because I did the wrong one. And I want to go into image frame, and I want to change the size. So that is an easy way for you to tell what element you are on. Okay, so we changed that. Now we're going to go down to effects, and I'm going to change this. Okay, perfect. So now we have that. So let's go ahead and align these by selecting both and aligning. And now we'll just move it over. And so you can see there was like this pink line right here, and that was just letting us know that it was centered to the middle. But I'm going to go ahead and center both of these again because I had to move that image. Okay, perfect. There also are grids if you wanted to use the grids here. So here's the column grids. I kind of find it distracting. This is like a newer feature, so it's kind of up to you on how you want to use that, but it could be good, especially if you're doing like rectangles or you need like it on both ends. But I generally usually have this off. Okay. The other thing that you can do to make it stand out is by changing the background. So we didn't change the background on this one, but something that I like to do is either add a gradient. So we can select on gradient, we can select the gradient start, and then we can select the gradient end color. You can rotate it. So you can do something like that if you want it. Another thing that I like to do is to add an image to the background. So let's just go ahead and add an image. And I like to change the opacity or the transparency to very, very light so that it just kind of gives the background some texture. So now that looks good. You can also change the background color. So like if you wanted it to look like that, like something like that, if you want it to be darker, I'm just gonna stick with white. And okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and edit the menu, or sorry, the mobile. So we're gonna go into mobile only, and now you can see that it looks like a mess. So let us go ahead and edit that. So we're gonna start with the menu up here. So let's go ahead and change the background. And that's all that we're gonna do to this, because we're gonna go back and we're gonna add a proper menu. So now let's go into the header. So one thing that you can do is you can do layout mobile, which is like mobile assist. And so you can click on these different options, and you can kind of, get it to kind of lay it out for you. So we're going to go ahead and use that well, I'm not going to use that for now, but if you want a shortcut, you can go ahead and use that, because I want to show you from scratch what it looks like not to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. And this is how I like to edit it. What I do is I click on preview, and I open it up in another tab so that I can see it. And then I move everything over here. And then I just start to edit the options. So in this case, it would, I think that the mobile assist would do us some good, because it already has the size that we're wanting right here. So we'll go ahead and do that. I'll show you, should I show you guys how to do it from scratch? Yeah, I'll just show you guys how to do it from scratch. But for you guys, I would just go ahead and use the layout, and then just go ahead and edit it. Oops, go back. Okay, so what I would do is I just will go ahead and edit the different sections. So this is my image frame, because it's highlighted right here, and here is my image. Now this would be the button, so I'm going to bring that over here, and now I'm going to go ahead and edit this. So I'm going to go into size, and I remember the size was 300 by 450. I like just to kind of start with the same size and just adjust it from there. So this is going to be too big. So I'm going to hit shift on my keyboard, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust it. Okay. This looks good. I'm going to move it up a couple of pixels here. And we'll do the same over here. 340, or I said 350. Okay. And we're going to go into effects. I'm going to change the shape. Change the shape. Make the background 2 pixels bigger. Highlight them. Align to group. That looks great. I'm going to extend this down. I want this to be the same size as this, but I also want this just to be on one line. So we'll do that. We'll bring in my subhead. And then for this subhead, I wanted it to be normal case, and I'm actually just going to leave it like that. And now the button size. Let's go and change the color. Add my border color. Now, the good thing about making these changes now is that basically what you're going to be doing throughout your site is just duplicating sections. Um, so once you already have like these sections set up, it's going to be really easy for you to just copy and paste the different sections and like the different layouts, because it's basically going to be the same thing because you want to be consistent. So that's kind of the good thing. So here we are spending a lot of time getting it right, because we are just going to be copying and pasting. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller. And good, that looks good. So I'm going to move this up a little bit and highlight all of them and then align to canvas. Okay, perfect. So that looks great. So that is how you do it from scratch. We can go back. I'm going to show you how to do it from the layout assist. So you can see it. Oops, 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 oops. I went back too far. Way too far. Okay, here we are. So now let's go into mobile assist and we're going to say okay. Perfect. So now I will just move all of these out of the way. Let's align these and see what's going on. Okay, so the sizing is a bit off. So let's see what the size is here. I'm going to make this 250 by 400. 250 by 400. I'm just guessing at sizes. I mean, I guess I've been doing it for a while, but you can just, use these options right here to kind of see it visually. So now I'm going to move this up 2 pixels, and then align them. Perfect. Now this header is too big for mobile. 25 seems about right. And then we're going to bring, why are you not coming over? Bring this over. We want that to be aligned. You can see it's a little off, and that's because this is like right up under there. So we just want to extend it out a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to move this up. And we're going to, oops, do not want to do that. Align to canvas. And you do want to make sure that you have some space here and space here. Now on desktop, that makes a lot of sense to have a little bit more space there. But on mobile, you can keep it a little bit tighter, but not too tight, right? So you do want to give some space. DIY websites look like DIY websites because you're not giving a lot of space. So I would even venture to say that we can give a little bit of more space here, but I'm going to leave it as is just because it's mobile and we don't need too much space. But you'll see on like most of the like elegant and high end websites, you're going to see a lot of space. You do want to give things space. It's hard. It's hard. I know it is. So here you can see I give a lot of space here, and that's exactly what you want to do. You could probably even give more space, honestly. Um, okay, so that was the header for the mobile and for the desktop. So now let's go ahead and create the about section. We're going to go ahead and add a blank canvas. I'm going to extend this one out to 500. I'm going to change the background color. And now we're going to go ahead and add the photo. So for the about mini section on the home page, you do want to grab a photo where you're actually looking at people. So this one looks good. I'm going to extend this one out. And let's go ahead and I'm going to add the about me in cursive. So I usually have my title text as like whatever my cursive font is. And again, you can change that within the display settings under site. About me, I want to kind of tilt this. So in order to do that, we can use this here, or you can under size and position, use the rotate option. And then I'm going to add my header. I'm going to change that header to white. And I'm grabbing my text by using Control-C to copy and Control-V to paste. And then let's add the paragraph text. Oh, that was subhead. Paragraph. And then we are going to grab the button. Although I'm going to make this, I'm going to see what this looks like as transparent, a little bit transparent. To do that, you're going to go under textile, right next to the color box, you're going to see 100, and you can change the transparency on that. So I just want to see what it looks like. I think we'll stick with the 100. Let us, we're going to go ahead and grab the button here. And we're going to copy it. So I just highlighted it and then I hit Control-C, and then I'm clicking into this About Me canvas, and then I'm going to hit Control-V to move it over to this canvas. So now we can see it is in this canvas. Sometimes when you do that and you don't click into the canvas, you'll notice that it just stays in the same canvas. So you do want to make sure that you're bringing it over to the correct canvas. Okay, so I'm gonna make this section a little bit bigger, maybe 550, because I need some room. It's feeling very tight. So I'm gonna have this in the middle, and then I want all three of these to be in the middle as well. So let's see. If you get it closer. Perfect. Okay, so now let us also add the frame. We're gonna go and click on the rectangle. .355 by 350, 355 by 350. Oop. Oh, that was right. And then we're going to move this to the back. And we're going to align it. Perfect. So now the About Me section is done on desktop. Let's go ahead and go to mobile. Okay, so here we are on mobile. Let's extend this out and let us go to layout menu and use that. So I do like the way that the photo is. So we'll keep that. Make that a little bit bigger. Let me just move this over to the side so I can fix these ones. I like moving things over to the side so I can see everything. I don't know why, it just helps me. But yeah, so I don't know if we need this because um, we're going to use it like this. So what you can do is you can just kind of layer it behind, or if you wanted to, you could, let's see where it's at. You could hide it on mobile. It will let me. You can just click hide on or hide on mobile, and now it's gone. So the nice thing about Showit is that you can make the mobile however you want it. So for instance, if we wanted to change the color on this right here, we could, and it's not going to affect the desktop. They have two different settings here. So let's kind of play around with that. And I'm going to change this one to this. I'm going to center it up. And then I'm going to add my button. Well, I guess I'll bring it back because it looks like there's the same amount of space there. Okay, so now let's go on to the problems and solutions section. Actually, let's rename this canvas. With the three dots, add a blank canvas. I'm going to call this a Let Me Ask You section. So here, oh, what is happening? Oh, okay, it's because this is a font that I received and it doesn't have a question mark. So that's why it was doing that. Oh, I guess it wasn't. Oh, I guess maybe I had something else. Oh, I had dot 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 for whatever reason and that didn't work. There's no periods on this font. Okay, well, You learn something new. Um, so we'll just leave it as is. That's fine. Okay. Let me ask you a question. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll add the header. Adding my text. I'm just adding these to the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out because I just want to see what it looks like. Okay, that looks good. So then we'll go ahead and add the paragraph text. I'm going to go to textile and move that to the center. Now, I personally do not like to have like one word on one line, so I just like to kind of stretch it out. But, you can kind of decide what it looks like there. Another thing that you can do too, if like you want it the same spacing between these three, is you can highlight all of them and then you can do distribute, and it will make it even for you. Okay, now let me add my subtext. I'm just going to move this down. And then I have a subhead here. Okay, and this is too big, so we're going to make it a little bit smaller. I don't know if I like that it's uppercase, so let's try normal. I think that looks good. All right, let's make sure that these are all in the, oops, all aligned. That's not what I meant to do. Again, I mess this up frequently, you guys, so it is literally just a learning curve. I want to add a little icon here. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to add an icon. And Showit has a library of icons. I'm going to add like a little arrow. So if you go into icon settings, you can create a custom icon. You just have to click on this question mark and follow the instructions. Here you can change the color, and then you can click on icon chooser to choose the icon. So they do have a bit of icons here. And I'm going to rotate this. And then I just like going into the size and position to make sure that it's at exactly 90. Okay. So now this section is almost good to go. So let's go ahead and edit the menu, or the mobile. I don't know why I keep on calling it menu. Okay, so now let's click on the three dots and go into layout, auto, Still a little bit of a mess, but at least it has the formatting there. So we're going to move everything out the way. Extend this one. I think I really want this to be on one line, so I'm going to make it smaller. And I'm just going to look at the settings to see if I have that as blue. Yeah, I do. Okay. And you can kind of play with how this looks. I don't like to extend the text all the way out to the side. So you may either need to just make it smaller or to kind of like push it in a bit. Another thing that I like to do is I like to check the size with the other ones that I have just to make sure that it is the same. Can you change that one to 206 because the other one was on 206. So it's the same and consistent. Okay. And then I already know that I need to make the text a bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to grab all of them, make sure that they're in the middle, and then make sure they are even here. Now, sometimes it kind of throws it off because it's making it even from whatever you have it here. So like, let's say that you had one that was like extended out here, it's going to make it even from like the text box. So that's why you do want to extend the text boxes. So like, even though you can have it like this and that's fine, but if you are using the alignment tools, you're going to want to make sure that you are extending these out so that it can do it correctly. I'll try that again. Okay. And then for the last part, we're gonna make this smaller. I'm hitting shift on my keyboard and we'll move it over. And then if you wanted to make sure that these were absolutely even, this is usually what I do is I do this align to middle and center, and now it's even from top to bottom. But if you wanted to make sure that it's even for all of these, what I do, I usually do this at the end, is I just grab a like rectangle and I just use it as like measurement, right? So I'm like, okay, this spacing looks good here, so now I'm just gonna make sure that that spacing is the same throughout, right? Okay, and then you can do it right here too. Okay, so this needs to be extended out. So then I would click into this canvas, extend it out, and then you can just delete the rectangle when you're done with it. So that's how I would do that, and I usually do that afterwards. But if you're wondering, okay. So now the next section is going to be the offers. I'm gonna click on the three dots, add a blank canvas, and rename it to offers. We are going to extend this one out. And okay, so for offers, I'm going to do 3 columns. And I'm going to do the first column first, and then I'm going to edit it on mobile. and then I'm going to copy and paste it. And that is the easiest way to do it, so that they're all the same instead of building them all out. So I am going to first just start with the photos. I'm just going to add 3 photos so that I can see, make sure that they're all going to fit. So let's just go ahead and add. I'll add this. Now I want this to be a perfect square, so I'm going to do 330 and 330. And then I'm just going to copy and paste the same photo. I'm going to tidy these up. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted. So this way. And then I'm going to align it to the center. Okay. So now I know that the size of the images that I have are going to work for 3 columns. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add the text. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the text from here and just copy and paste. So Control T, make sure I click into this canvas and Control Paste, and now it is here. And then grab my text. Make this smaller. Maybe we'll add a little bit of more text to it. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll go ahead and add the button. I'm going to go into the About Me canvas and just copy, come back into the Offers canvas and paste, and move it here. I'm going to post to learn more. And now we're going to make sure that these are all aligned. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to get rid of the 2 photos here, and I am going to go into the mobile. We're going to go into the layout assist, and I want these to be smaller, and I do want it to be a perfect square. So let's do 250 by 250. Oh, I don't have a frame around that. And yeah, I guess I would like a frame. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. 330 by 330. Rename image frame, bring it all the way down to the back. Place it in there, move it up 2 pixels, highlight both. Make sure it's all aligned. Okay, perfect. Now let's go back into mobile. Guess I have to refresh. That's hardly ever happened. But of course, it would happen when I'm recording. Okay, let's see what we lost. Okay, not much. Okay, so let's go back into mobile. And I'm gonna grab this and change the size to 50. So 252, 252. And make sure that this is in the middle. Okay, perfect. Okay, and extend this out. So I'm gonna have to extend this out a lot more because remember we have three. So if you wanted to just kind of like zoom out, um, this has a lot of room. So I'm gonna bring that up because that doesn't make sense to have that much space. Okay, back into this canvas. And bring it down. Okay. Reset zoom. I'm gonna fix this button. Bring it up a little bit. Okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna go back into the desktop and, oh, was this aligned? Okay. I'm gonna highlight all of them. I'm going to hit Control C, hit Control V, and it made a copy right on top. I'm gonna move it over and I'm going to align that to the middle. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into mobile and just scroll down and you're gonna find that that is still highlighted and it copied it right on top. So now you can just move it out and place. Super simple. Now we just kind of created a shortcut for that. I'm just gonna extend this out more. And then we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna go back to desktop. Control C, Control V. Okay, so now we may need the grids. So let's see. If that isn't working, then what you can do is, yeah, it looks like this is about, like it does snap because I do have snapping on, but what you could do is this rectangle trick that I told you about. That is like the easiest and simplest way to get it as close as possible if you don't trust, your eyes and you want to get it, close to perfect. And you can move it with your arrow keys if it's too small. Okay, so that is good enough to me. The other thing that you could do is you can um, highlight all of these and then you can do the distribute option. Oh, let me see. I did the wrong one. Nope, 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 nope. It just would have to be for the top ones. I'm not going to do all of that. I think that this looks good. I'm fine with my little rectangle um, option. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this third one again, and I'm actually going to take off the column grids, and I'm going to go back into mobile, scroll down, and go ahead and take this off here. Okay, and so then you may want to use the rectangle here and here to make sure that the spacing is good. Okay, I'm going to go back and change the photos. So go into image and you can just click on swap image. And then you can select your images. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and do a preview so that you can see what it looks like, you can go ahead and select preview. And you can see what it would look like on the desktop. You can also click on the link up here and it will show you the preview. So there we go. So this looks like a little bit too much space, or I would just kind of bring that down. So let me go ahead and do that now. I'm going to just move this down here closer. It's like the preview. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, perfect. You can also take a look on what it would look like on mobile. Okay, great. Okay, so the next section is the testimonial section. Okay, so for testimonials, let's add a new blank canvas. We are going to call it testimonials. Testimonials. And let's change the background. Let's change it to blue since we haven't really used blue. And actually, I think this is a good size. So we are going to now learn about canvas views with doing testimonials. So then that way we can have one testimonial on the screen, and then if somebody clicks, they can go and see the next testimonial. So we're going to start by adding a image. Let me grab another image. A different person. Here we go. Okay. This is our testimonial person. We're going to make this a circle and go back into size and let's make it a perfect circle. Let's also add the frame. What am I doing? Oh, size. Go to change the corners. Bring this back. And we'll make sure it's aligned. And then I think we can make this probably a little bit smaller. Let me see how I did with that size. Oh, really good. Okay. Line to center. Okay. And then let's go ahead and add the text for the testimonial. We'll do a paragraph. Did it not? Oh, there it goes. Let's go into the text style and center that. And let's also change the color. I'm going to actually change it to white because it's a little too light there. Yeah, that looks better. Okay, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Let's still make sure that this is aligned. And let's bring this up. So it doesn't look like it is just from afar, but if you zoom in, it's because the sizing is really small. Okay, so this looks good. Let's go ahead and add the arrows that are going to go back and forth for people. So we're going to go into icon, and then you can add the arrows to go back and forth. So let's see what icons we have. Okay, I'm gonna use this one, and let's change the color. Make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm gonna do Control C, Control V to copy it, and then I'm just gonna rotate it. And we'll center that. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add the canvas view by clicking on the three dots and then going to add canvas view. So what you want to do is in the canvas view, you are going to put in all of the stuff that is going to change. So for instance, the picture is going to change and the words are going to change. Now I can keep this frame the same, and I can also keep these there because that's going to be in all of the different testimonials. The one tip that I would give you is to make sure that the text that you select here for the first one that you do is like the longest text that you have. So then that way you can see how big the actual canvas needs to be. I'm actually going to make this text a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to move the picture and I'm going to move this text. So I'm just on my keyboard, I just selected the picture and then I hit Shift and I clicked on the text. And so now we can see that it's highlighted over here. So you could do the same thing over here if you wanted to do it that way. Click on this, hit Shift, click on the graphic, and then what you're going to do is you're going to move it into the view. So now you can see that this is all that's left. So this is going to be on all of the different views. So now if we click on view, you can see that it's back. So we're going to go ahead and make a duplicate view of how many ever testimonials we need. So there we go. We have 3 now. So now we're going to go into view 2 and we're going to change the photo by swapping that out. And we'll do the same thing for 3. So we can just kind of see the difference here. Okay, perfect. So now what we're going to need to do is we need to tell Showit what these buttons do. So we're going to click on the button. We're going to go into click actions. We're going to select canvas and we're going to select this canvas and we're going to click on next. So this is going to scroll to the next canvas. It can reverse transition direction, loop canvas views, and then we don't want to submit the contact form. So I usually keep these settings the same. And then we're going to do the same for over here, canvas, this canvas, and previous. Okay, so now we're going to do preview. And so now you can see how that works. And now we have to edit the mobile. So now for mobile, what I would do is I would, just like how we did this one, I would just create the first one and then go ahead and design that and then create the other ones. Because then you're going to have like a whole lot of like redesigning to do, and you know, we really don't have time for that. So before you get too far into that, I should have probably mentioned that, but I tend to forget that too. So let's go ahead and do the layout assist. Oh, I didn't do it. layout assist. Let's see what the other ones are looking like. Okay, we'll use this one. There we go. Okay, so everything looks good except for the icons here. I'm gonna move these icons out. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller too. Okay, for the icons, we're gonna highlight both of them and make them smaller. And then let's make sure that we have the right icon. Okay, so this one is pointing right. I'm gonna rename that one right. And then you can rename the other one if you want to, but really it's, it's for you. So we'll go into mobile, this one. And then we'll align it to canvas, or to the canvas. Okay, so now that we have that finished, now we can just go ahead and do the duplicate and then change the photos, and it'll be the same thing. So we'll test it on mobile as well. So I'm just going to do this one, and we'll go ahead and test it on mobile. Boom. All right. So now we are going to work on the call to action section. So for the call to action section, I actually like to just duplicate the header. And to do that, we're going to go into the three dots on the header and we're going to select duplicate. And that is going to bring it here. I'm going to bring it down to the bottom. Header, I'm going to rename this to CTA. And for the CTA, I actually don't have any image, and I'm just going to center this. And I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller because it doesn't need to be this big. Okay. And then for the image, I'm going to go ahead and change the image. I'm going to keep the transparency the same, but I'm going to change the image. Did I not click on it? Oh. And let's see, which one do we want? Do this one. And another thing that you can do is right now we have it set to scroll with page, but you could do parallax or fixed. For the CTA, I usually like to have it fixed. And you can do that up here too. Show you what that looks like. So you can see the image is fixed in the back. All right. So okay, so now we can go ahead and work on the footer, and then we will go ahead and go back to the menu. So almost done. But the good thing about this is that for the rest of the pages, we're just going to be reusing these same sections. Okay, so let us go to add blank canvas. We are going to call this one footer. And this one's going to be a super simple basic footer that I'm going to be showing you. Just like with all of these sections, just the basics here. Of course, you can go back and you can, add elements and cool stuff. But for now, we're just going to make it super simple. So we're going to add the, let's change the color. I think maybe we'll go with the pink, since that's kind of what we started with. And then let's go ahead and add the logo. Okay, we're going to move that out of the way. And then I'm going to add, I'm going to do a subhead. Yeah, I'm going to make this smaller because I'm going to have home, about, services, and contact. So let me see, let me make this a little bit smaller. Now that looks good. And we'll do this in, yeah, that looks good. Okay. So home. Let's extend this out a little bit. Control V. We'll Control C, Control V. And we'll add another one, about. And we're going to add two more. I'm just going to do both of these. I'm going to move them up a little bit, and then I'm going to evenly distribute them. Or it's called tidy up in Canva, that's why I say that. Okay, wrong one. It is this one. Home, about, services, and contact. Okay, great. So you can have this just straight down the canvas, or you can have this on this side and then that on that side. You can add your social media icons. So we're going to add two social media icons. And then we'll Control C, Control V. And we'll change that one to, let's do TikTok. Make sure those are aligned. And then we'll add the little disclaimer. Now you can add that as another canvas if you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and add a rectangle here. Now this rectangle, I want it to go all the way across. There are some settings in order to do that we will have to enable. So let me just change the color. Okay. So if we hit preview, what you're going to see is this is not extending all the way out. You'll also notice that with the logo up here. So there are some settings for that. So we're going to click on the rectangle and we want it to extend all the way out. So we're going to go into size and position, and we're going to go into horizontal locking, and we are going to select this last one to fully extend it all the way out. So now when we go to preview, you'll see that now it extends all the way out. And then we can just go ahead and add our text here. Okay. Perfect. So to add, or actually let's go back up here to this one, and let me show you how to lock this one. So we actually want this one, we don't want it to extend all the way out. We just want it to lock over here. So to do that, you're going to select this setting right here, which means this right here means stretch. So this is saying we're going to stretch this over. This is saying we're just going to lock it to the side. So you can kind of play around with that, but generally this is for just if you want it all the way over to the side versus like maybe you have a picture here and you want it to stretch out. So those are the different settings there. So now let's go ahead and preview and see. So now you can see that's all the way over to the side. Okay, so now let's talk about click actions. So if you want to go ahead and set up the click actions, you can, I would highlight the entire button, and then you can go down here to click actions and you can configure the link to a page, a canvas, a URL. So you may, usually I wait until the end to do all of the different click actions, but for certain buttons, especially if we're going to be copying over different canvases, after the home page would be a good time to do that, especially since we're going to be, copying over the different buttons. But you can, and then you can also do links like here. Let's say we just wanted to do a link just for site policy. You can select link, and then you can select URL, and then go ahead and enter that. Generally, it's going to have like an underline there. If you don't want that, when you have it highlighted, you can go into text styles, and then you can select the format here as no underline. Let us go ahead and do the menu. Okay, so for the menu, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna copy these over. We're gonna use the same ones. And you can see it moved it down here. So we're just gonna move it up over here. Okay, so now I actually want to change these to white. I'm gonna do that. And now we're going to go ahead and stack them. So you may want to include a button up here for your call to action. I would highly suggest that. But for now, we're just going to do this. Okay. So for here, in order to get these in alignment, you could do the distribute option, but sometimes I feel like that doesn't work as well. So if you notice that it's a little off, you might want to do the rectangle option. So let's just go ahead and see what that's looking like. So I usually do it to the end, right to the beginning, and you may want to just zoom in. Okay. Okay. So actually, I'm gonna move this into this area. Did it do it? Where are you? Okay. I don't know where it went, but I know that I'm in my menu now, so I'm going to go ahead and add that rectangle. It was not adding it in the correct spot. Okay. So now let's, yep. Okay, perfect. So now let's go into the mobile and let's see what this is looking like. So now generally on mobile menus, you have the hamburger menu. So we're gonna go ahead and create that now. I'm gonna move this logo over to the side. I'm gonna make this smaller. And I'm gonna make these desktop only because I don't want that on the menu or on the mobile. Okay, let's go ahead and add our icon for the hamburger menu. And we can choose different menus here. So I'm going to choose that one. Okay. Oh, we didn't do these ones, but it's pretty much the same um, as the other sections. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create a mobile menu because when people click on this, they need a menu. So we are going to select add new canvas. Oops, add blank canvas. We are going to call this mobile menu. Let's go into the canvas and I'm going to change this to 500. I'm going to change the canvas type to window height, which means that whatever the size of the mobile is, that's the height that it's going to be. But the minimum height is going to start off at 600. 600. 600 is a good pixel size for mobile. And we're also going to check this, hit into start, and we are going to hit sticky to the top, which means that we just want it to be right on the top. Okay, so now let us change the background color. Let's change it to that. And then let's go ahead and grab the menu items. So if we did this one, then this would be a little bit easier, but I'm actually just going to grab them over here. So home, shift, about, services, contact, hit control C, and then hit control V, and now we are here. Perfect. So then I'm going to grab all of these, and that is not the way that I want it to distribute it. There we go. And we need to add the menu, or sorry, the logo. I just don't have words anymore. Add that to page. And let's make it smaller. I'm gonna have it go right on the top. But let me see what the white looks like. Yeah, I think I like the white. Hmm. Let me just stick with the blue. Okay. Goodness. Okay. I'm actually gonna grab the button here too. Let me go into this one. Control C. Make sure I click into the mobile menu and move the button. Okay, great. I do need to add a icon because people need to be able to exit out of this. So I'm gonna go to my icon chooser and I'm gonna select the X. Okay, so when we go into click actions, well, actually what you're gonna wanna do first is actually just turn these into site canvases. So we can do that first because then you're gonna have to change the settings. So a site canvas is a canvas that you want to use throughout multiple pages. And so the site canvases are good for menus and footers that are going to stay the same, right? So, like, let's say it wouldn't be for like a header that you're going to want to use because you could just duplicate that into the new page, but it's more so for like footers and menus that are going to stay the same. And so that way, if you have it on every page and you make a change to it, then it's going to change across all of the pages so you don't have to go in and change every single one. Okay, so for the menu, we're going to go ahead and turn this into a site canvas. So now you'll see it has these little lines through it, and when you click on it, it's going to ask you to edit the site canvas. So that's how you know that you're making changes to all of them. Okay, so let's go in here and we're going to click on the click actions. The action that we want is we want this to show a site canvas. And actually, let's go back. Let me change this one to a site canvas. Convert to site canvas. I guess I'm in the way. Convert to site canvas. Okay, now let's do that. Let's go back up to menu, edit menu, click on this, show, mobile menu, and we're gonna go back. I'm gonna select mobile menu. I'm gonna change the stacking order. So stacking order just means that it's like a layering effect, right? So all of them have zero stacking order. This is kind of good for when you want to layer elements on top. You have to let Showit know what the layer is. So I want this to be on top. And so if it's like, if you figure that something is not showing, it's likely because of the stacking order. So we can change this to 10, it's fine. You can just do one if you want to do it that way. I usually just do 10. And then when people click on this X, they are going to hide this site canvas. And then when we're setting up these, we want to click on show. And then you'll have your page here, right? So show, oh, actually, I lied. You want to go here to page and then like home page. And then for actions, you want to select hide this site canvas. So after they click it, it's going to go ahead and hide this. So that's how you want to set those up. So you'll just go through and set these ones up. Likely you're going to have to come back because we still need to create the rest of the pages. Let's go ahead and go back and let's go ahead and preview if you want to test this out. Let's make sure everything is set up. So when we click on this, it pops up, boom. Super simple. And then with this, because this is the home page, that's where it's going. But like, let's say that you only had like one page. You can also set up the click actions just to go to like certain sections. You just have to know what that section name is. So if we're going to do that here, maybe we want this to go to the mini about section. So what we would do is we click on canvas and then we would select this. Oh, well, okay. That one's not going to work because this one is a site canvas. So we'll have to do it. This way. Actions. Oh, wait. How are we doing this? Canvas. Yeah, I believe it's because it's the site canvas. So if it's a site canvas, it's linking to site canvases. Yeah, I guess I've only ever done that when it wasn't a site canvas because it's going to be a one pager. I guess you wouldn't have site canvases. So you could do that when it's not a site canvas. So let's just say, for instance, if somebody is clicking here and you want them to go to one of the canvases, you just click canvas, and then here's all the canvases here. Okay. Let us go back. I believe I covered. Oh, here we go. So let's go ahead and edit the menu, and we need to make sure that this icon is for mobile only. And then actually we need to do the same thing for this mobile menu. So for the mobile menu, we only want it to show up on mobile. So we're going to click off of the visible on desktop, and then that'll make it mobile only. So you'll see that there. And then for the icons, when you actually click into it, you'll see here what is clicked on and clicked off. Okay, so now I believe that that's it for the home page. Yep, and so in the next section, we'll go ahead and create the About page.